Yes, team, how are we doing? Hopefully, I think we should be live and direct. I'm just going to pull the group up to check that we are on. As always, someone just let me know. Let me know in the comments. There's always a delay on Facebook. Let me know you can hear everything okay. Yeah, it appears we're on. So I'm going to, morning Edie. I'm going to expand. You can hear everything okay. Yeah, it appears we're on Facebook, and turn it off and just try and get to grips with this working on a bit of a delay. Aaron, Edie, how you doing? So just while obviously I know a lot of people are excited for this training, I'm going to be doing the Q&A at the end of it. So if you have asked questions on the Q&A, they will be at the end of this video. That will be the same format for all of the coachings. Okay, there won't be two different videos. It will be, the Q&A will be at the end of the video. Yes, everybody say good morning. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Alison. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Edie. I love you all. Thank you for being here. So let's start with some welcomes, shall we? So we have, guys, Roman. Good morning, guys. Everyone show Roman some love. He's just joined this morning, part of the new enrollment. So hopefully you should all see this. I'm going to tag the next 20 people in it specifically. But Kelly Hawley, Kat Oldfield, Janine Hodson, Kerry Watts, Aaron Chambers, Colette Link, Rachel Tynan, Andrew Flack, Rachel Starr, Louise Harmon, Johnny West, Rich Kelly, Gemma Bergin, Olivia Bergin, Lewis Bergin, Tracy Taylor, John Ross-Salt, Vince Fletcher, and Roman Solnar, who I've just said. Welcome. You've all made a very wise investment into your future happiness, your future fitness, your future nutrition, your future body goals, your happiness, your mindset, your clarity, your focus, your drive, your discipline, everything. Okay, the guys will back me up in the comments. This is a coaching experience like no other. You may well be used to getting a coach who you never really ever see, and you get sent a shitty nutrition plan and a training plan and told to stick to it, and that's it. Okay, not that might be the easy way to do it, but we're the opposite of that. So first of all, you get, and thank you to the 45 people who posted on the evening review last night, the evening wins, which I'm going to come on to. I'm not sure where the other 165 people are, but maybe they'll give themselves a shake and step out of their cages today, hey? So first of all, same names all the time, by the way, guys. The newbies who I've just mentioned, first of all, welcome. And secondly, there's been quite a lot of questions, and this is something that we are working on. Okay, so unfortunately you guys aren't going to be part of it because you're already here, but likewise you've also got the plan at a price that it probably won't be delivered at again, so it's a win-win really. But there are 5 key things that you have to do every day. Okay, if you don't do them, you are just selling yourself short of results. They're not difficult. You just need to get them done. Okay, so number 1 is the morning journal that was posted this morning. It goes out every morning at 7 a.m. I might be moving it till 6 a.m. Because I think that will help some people, the early risers like Melissa Hall. I'm going to discuss that with you guys and Laura later. Secondly is the daily accountability tracker. Okay, again, this goes out every day at 9 o'clock. What exercise you did on any day, you simply post your exercise, a screenshot of your steps. Don't overthink the details about it. Just post something on there. Literally, as far as I'm concerned, you can post went for a run. That's a massive win. Okay, went for a walk, got my steps in. You can screenshot your PT Hub account. You can screenshot something you've done on YouTube, anything. Okay, just do something. Secondly, we have the food accountability post. Okay, meal inspirations, ideas. Post at least one of your meals on this each day. There's a very specific reason for this, because it gives you an awareness of what you're eating, and it also allows us as a team to inspire and support and share meal ideas. So you might see something that you've never thought of. Oh my God, like I was looking at, I was actually looking in the vegan group this morning, and I'm not completely sure who it was. It might have been Edie, but someone had posted these fucking pancakes and they looked insane. Okay. But again, you might not even have known you could have pancakes, and you wouldn't have known that unless that other person had posted it. So again, it's part of the team aspect. It's about supporting and inspiring each other's. Okay. And secondly is the evening review, where we celebrate the wins, no matter how small, which 45 people did last night. And I don't know about you guys, but I read them, most of them at the end of last night, and it lifted my mood from a 2 to a 10 instantly. Okay. Knowing you guys are on point, knowing you were winning, knowing you had a good day. And it's a little bit like a gym session. Okay. No one ever did the morning review and regretted it. Okay. No one ever got their steps in and regretted it. Nobody ever did the evening wins and regretted it. No one ever watched one of these videos and regretted it. Okay. Get the small things right. And above that, as well as committing to 10,000 steps per day, you need to track your food on MyFitnessPal every day. Okay. Newbies, that is it. Okay. For the first couple of weeks, at minimum. Okay. Grab a pen and write it down again. 1, okay, morning journal. 2, exercise accountability post. 3, evening review. 4, get my steps in. 5, track my food every day. That's it, okay? Then over time, we'll build in the Unbreakable Daily Checklist and Planner, which evolves that further, okay? Until each and every day, you have a guaranteed route map to success. Okay. One other thing I'm possibly thinking about getting some feedback on from you guys, and I won't do this without anyone's agreement, is I could potentially move these coachings back slightly later to 9 o'clock or 9:30. But again, I would want everyone's views on that. It's come to my awareness that I think this clashes with a lot of school runs. Some people would be able to watch it when they get to work, but they're traveling at this point, or it can stay at 8 o'clock. It makes no odds to me, but either way, the recordings will always be posted, so no one is ever going to miss a training. Now, before I come on to the main training, that should have given you a pretty good awareness of you know where you need to be at week 1 and 2. Those things alone will achieve epic results. What most of you do is you're thinking too much too soon. Okay, these are the foundations. These are the bricks that lay the amazing house. Okay, but most of you are trying to go straight to the complicated weights plan, or the building muscle, or the getting your abs out, or all these things, and you were not getting these small basic steps right to start with. Okay, focus on that, pure and simple. Now, thirdly, I want to do a grounder this morning because, and this is personal to me, but I want it to be a serious wake-up call, okay? A serious humbler, I might call it. But as part of the Unbreakable Daily Checklist and Planner, which you can start straight away if you want. If not, I'll certainly be pushing it onto you in the next couple of weeks. We have one part, it's actually within the morning journal as well. The daily activity planner and checklist is a more evolved version of the evening review and the morning journal. Just to put forward to you guys as well, if you're doing the Unbreakable Daily Checklist and Planner, which is 20 years worth of my personal development mindset work, you can also take a photo of that, screenshot it, and stick that on the morning review or evening post. Okay, if you don't want to double cross and do both, because it is technically doing the same thing twice, but I like people to have both options. Extra accountability. So gratitude is, okay, if this was you this weekend, that you drank too much alcohol, you ate too much food, you keep binge eating, you keep getting a takeaway, you keep doing any form of negative behavior, okay? And then the following day, which is what this training is going to be fucking epic, guys. What this comes on to is then you're riddled with the guilt, and you're disappointed and you're frustrated, and some of you aren't seeing the results you want after 2 to 3 weeks, and then you're flipping out and you're questioning that things aren't working, you're not trusting the process. Even worse, some of you are just, you're not doing your photos and your measurements, and then you like kicking off saying you've not seen any change, and you haven't even done your photos. So how do you know that you haven't seen any change? Okay, you don't, which comes back to getting the basics right. But think of this, okay, as a leveler for all of us. And this is what being ill has made me realize. Rather than the frustration, the disappointment, the anger, the self-pity, because that's what a lot of it is, that triggers you, take it on the chin, because it would only trigger you because it's true, okay? The self-pity about, oh, I did this, I did that, poor old me, everything's harder for me. You know the stories. I've said it myself many times. How about we show gratitude for the fact that you have the opportunity to train today? Every single one of you has enough freedom to be able to make the decision to go and do some exercise today. Do you know how many people don't? Okay, I didn't have that opportunity last week, and it's truly grounded me. Okay, do you know how grateful you should be that you have the opportunity to make healthy food choices today and pick what foods you eat? Okay, rather than living off scraps because you're homeless, or starving because you're in a third world country, or that skin that you can't afford to buy food. Okay, yet rather than being grateful for those two opportunities, we want to get angry and frustrated and disappointed about the fact that we're a greedy fat pig who drank too much and ate too much this weekend, and now we want to make it everybody else's fault. Is that hitting home? Do you know how kind of, when you think about it, how disrespectful to that is it to people that don't have the opportunity to make healthy choices, they don't have the opportunity to eat healthy food, and they don't have the opportunity to exercise today for whatever reasons? Okay, this is what grounded me last week, because I didn't have the opportunity to do any of them on some days, and it's made me realize how grateful I should be that I'm in a free position where I can train, I can make healthy decisions with my life. I'm part of this coaching program, and I'm truly, truly grateful for that. Now, when you can, drop some yeses if this is making sense, okay? When you can channel that as your thought process, rather than your constant self-pity, blame, and justification about the actions you took that you're in charge of, responsible for, and you need to take ownership of, that happened this weekend, then that will bring you back to ground zero, okay? 100%. You cannot be showing gratitude for the fact that you have the freedom of choice to pick what you eat. You have the freedom of choice to go to the gym today. And you should be truly, truly grateful that you are part of this program, not floating my ego because it's me, but because you are in a position to be part of it, to be part of this team, to be stepping up, to be making better decisions. Okay, thousands of people don't have that. And when you ground yourself with that every day, how can you be angry about what you ate at the weekend or how much you drank? You cannot experience those two emotions at the same time. And this is why showing gratitude for what we have, opportunity wise, and being thankful for what we do have rather than jealous and resentful over what we don't, is what will always bring you back to ground zero. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to crack on with today's training. Okay, yeah, but again, Nick, does it make you grateful for the fact, rather than, it's unfortunate, the injuries I've been through, it's really unfortunate, but again, it's a grounder, buddy. It's like, I'm not ever going to take that for granted again. Some of you, all you do is moan about how much food you eat and how much you don't train and how it's all somebody else's fault, because you've not got this and you've not got that and you've not got that. Okay, ground it back and be gratitude for the fact that you have the opportunity to do it. So today's training is bulletproof your mindset. Okay, and it's going to be a big one, okay? And I think it's going to be those ones that will really hit home, and it will resonate with you. And I hope it will stay around for many years to come. I've got a phone here, I've got an iPad here, I've got another iPad here, and I've got a computer here, and I'm going to somehow try and deliver parts of this with writing, but we'll see how it goes. You'll get there, okay? So first of all, this is a statement, okay? Money, time, love, and gratitude will always make your life easier, okay? People will often say things like, money won't make you happy. Well, maybe not essentially, but it definitely makes your life easier. And if your life's easier, are you happy? 100%, okay? When you have more time, more freedom, more impact, okay, that will make you happy. When you have more love, more affection, more attention to the level where you're filled up and you can give out more, that will make you happy, okay? And all of those things are down to you, and they will make your life easier, okay? That's a fact. Now, just to touch on ever so slightly what happened yesterday when I said, you know, what does happiness mean to you? 95% of people reset to somebody else, to their family, to their partner. Very few people posted something internal, okay? And this is what we need to work on, because if you are not happy, you are not in a position to make the people around you happy. If you don't truly love yourself, you are not in a position to give out love to others. As I've said before, you're giving from a cup that's half empty. You're giving for the wrong reasons. You're giving out all this love and all this stuff that you do for other people, deep down rooted in the hope that you'll get it back, okay? When you don't, you then become jealous, resentful, angry. Well, I did all this for them. Well, I gave that person all this love. Well, I gave out all this positivity and none of it came back to me. Everyone's a twat. Okay, you have to be able to give it out from a heart that's full and expect nothing back in return. Now, this is again, it's what every single person now, cover your kids' ears because there's a C-bomb about to come up. Ladies, if you hate the C-bomb, gents, if you hate the C-bomb, I massively apologize in advance. But it will be one of those things that I think you will listen to this and you will remember it, and it will be because of that word, okay? This is something Paul said, and it stuck with me. So that's why I hope it will stick with you, okay? So when we were talking about this, and it was with Dr. John Demartini, and we were talking about self-love and how it's important it is, and exactly what I just said, he said that someone said to him, fucking hell, mate, you love yourself a bit, don't you? And his response was, I do, yeah. Maybe you should try it sometime and you'd stop being such a cunt. Okay? And it's one of those things that you remember, but it's so true. Okay? If you don't love yourself, the chances are you're going to be angry, frustrated, disappointed, kicking off at people, not resonating the correct energy, not giving out anything positive at all. And it all comes down to that you haven't got yourself right, which is why you're being a CUNT all the time to everyone else. Okay. So our behavior will always follow a trigger. Okay. This is why I'm hankering on over and over again about the morning journal and about the evening review, okay? Because they're triggers. What do they trigger? They trigger hydrating the champ. They trigger focusing on the positive. They trigger having an awareness as if you're not all right and what you need to do about it. Because let's face it, if you're not all right, no one's coming to rescue you, okay? If we're if we're not feeling good at 6 a.m. in the morning when we do the morning journal, then that's why the next question says, what can I do to raise this state? What can I do to feel better? What can I do to improve my mental state today? And having that awareness of that trigger of every single day will truly take your life forward. It's no different to the trigger of an alarm clock, okay? Your behavior follows a trigger, doesn't it? The alarm clock goes off, you get up. You do your evening wins, you realize the day wasn't so bad, you feel amazing, okay? You do your early morning journal, you realize I'm not feeling too good. What am I going to do about it? Action plan in place. Okay. And it's that daily reminder. But what I'm going to come on to, and this is when I'm going to try and share the iPad, and it could all go very, very wrong. But we'll see. This is when we talk about, and I want to kind of write this down because I think you guys will remember it. And it's definitely what I've realized this week. And it came on to when I was talking about yesterday, if work rate is going to go through the roof, then recovery has to go through the roof as well. Okay. So again, we've got these two things, haven't we? We've got work and we've got recovery. You can't have one without the other. You can't just work, and never recover because you'll burn out, blow out, end up ill. Prime example. Okay. So what we need to understand, and this is what hugely resonated with me, and this is why I think I need to, we're going to attempt to share here and hope it doesn't all go completely tits up. This is why we need to kind of have this awareness, I believe, and it's because of these, here we go, because of these kind of the importance of this, which is why I want to write it down so you guys can see it. So we're attempting to screen mirror. I don't know how to do this. It always takes about 300 attempts and then it finally does it. There we go. Screen mirroring. Link to Lee's MacBook Zoom. And we should hopefully be in. Someone drop a comment just letting me know that you guys can see the iPad okay. And we're going to open a new blank document. Guys, I know you love the iPad and my fan-dabby dozy writing. There we go. So quickly, can everyone see Notability? Drop me a thumbs up, drop me a fist pump, drop me a love heart, drop me anything at all. Sarah Newell, thank you. Nick Lockerbie, thank you. Okay, so how many times have we asked this question? I did a poll. What's the number one thing I could help you with to have an impact on your goals? Okay. What was the number one result? Okay. How do I get rid of negative people? How do I get rid of negative thoughts? How do I start thinking more positively? How do I start being a more positive person? How do I get more motivation? How do I get more discipline? How do I start having a positive outlook on life? How do I stop being so down in the dumps? How do I start believing in myself? Okay. It's all the same question. How do I get happier? Okay. It's as simple as that. Now, what we have to understand is, and this is what I want you guys to remember, there is never a positive without a negative. Okay. And there is never a negative without a positive. And that's what we need to remember. Okay. You guys know about Paul, you know about various people, you know about me. And this is why this is why I bring it up. This is why he brings it up. And, when you're told you've got a personality disorder or you're bipolar, again, as I was, we have to understand that everyone is in some format, and that's okay. I'm not talking about the far-reached medical end, okay? But in general, bipolar or having a personality disorder means as a human, you experience very high emotions and you experience very low emotions. And there's no in between and you can't really control them, okay? Hands up if you felt like that, okay? Hands up if 1 minute you've been running marathons, bouncing off walls, signing up clients, getting bonuses at work, getting in the best shape of your life, taking positive action, signing up for new courses, everything's on fire with your relationship. You literally couldn't be more positive, and then completely out of the blue, you borderline fucking hate the world and you want to top yourself. Okay. That's what I experience. Okay. And that's why when you tell someone that, they're like, oh, you're bipolar. Oh, you've got a personality disorder. Oh, you've got this. Oh, you've got that. So I guess we all have in some way. But what I'm trying to get across is that there is no breakthrough without breakdown, and there is no breakdown without breakthrough. Okay. So had I not broken through the barrier of running 10 marathons, I wouldn't have had this breakdown. Okay. Had I not had this breakdown, I wouldn't have realized how much I need to look after my health better and focus on recovery as much as I need to focus on work. Does that make sense? You see the two polar opposites of those things. Had I not ran the marathons, I wouldn't have had the breakdown. Breakthrough, breakdown. Okay. Had I not had the breakdown, I wouldn't have realized the importance of recovery, which in turn is going to help me move forward. Okay. Again, you can reply this to any area of your life. You know, had you not got the sack, you never would have found your dream job. Had you not found your dream job, you never would have realized how bad that one was in the first place. Okay. Partners, relationships, everything. Now, here's the kicker. So, you know, I would put forward we are all some form of bipolar because we all experience highs and lows. And from what I see, the only place where we're going wrong is we get addicted to the highs and then we want to be high all the time. Okay. And then when we hit the lows, everything goes wrong and we question everything and we burn out and we blow out and we get frustrated and we get disappointed and we get angry and we experience those other emotions. Now, to me, it's the realization that we have to start to understand. So this is why I wanted to get the iPad out so much. So we have progress, okay? And then we have recovery. These should all be coming up, okay? Then we have, let's say, guilt, which, drop me a comment now. If we're experiencing guilt, where are we living? I want to put it in brackets. First person to get it wins a prize. And so we have guilt and we have fear, okay? If we're experiencing fear, where are we living? Go. If we're experiencing guilt, where are we living? Go. Okay. Then we've got criticism. I'm really bad at spelling, by the way. Okay. Melissa, wrong. Matt Bingham, yes. Guilt, only ever associated to the past. Okay. Fear, where are we living if we're experiencing fear? Yeah, kind of in the shit zone, but it's another word that begins with F. Okay. We have criticism and we have praise. Then, as I did the full training on, we have train, pain, and we have pleasure. Okay. Yes, future. So guilt is always in the past and fear is always in the future. Now, here's the kicker. Those arrows should catch up, okay? Now, in the middle of guilt and fear, we have present, okay? In the middle of criticism and praise, we have, let's call it self-love, okay? It's not coming from anybody else. In the middle of pain and pleasure, kind of think we have, I'd call what we talked about yesterday, happy. In the middle of progress and recovery, I'd probably put something like content, okay? Now, if we think about that, What are the things that we all want to feel? Okay. Yeah, we want to feel progress. Yeah, we want to get praise and pleasure. We don't really want any pain. We don't really want any criticism, and we don't really want any fear. Okay. But we have to understand that those things will always, always, always be there. Okay. And what we need to work on, I firmly believe, as individuals, is getting to that place in the middle. So we can't have too much progress and no recovery, or we'll burn out. Okay. We can't keep talking about the guilt of things we've done, or we will live there. Okay. We can't keep looking forwards because we'll be constantly met with fear. As I said yesterday, aim forwards, measure backwards. Okay. We can't just get praise all the time because we'll never grow and improve. And we can't just criticize ourselves all the time. Okay. Because we're going back to gear and to gear. We're going back to guilt and the past. Okay. We can't just have pleasure all the time because we can't get to pleasure without going through pain. Okay. And without pain, there is no pleasure. So where we're looking to be is this in the middle. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Okay. You know, and I firmly believe, I'm going to take the iPad off now, that this all comes down to, I don't know how I'll stop screen sharing. I firmly believe this all comes down to, should be back on Facebook now, living in the present. Okay. So if we are truly, truly present, are we back to normal now? I'm not sharing. Yes. Okay. Back to the notes. So if we're truly, truly living in the present, then it's difficult to experience those things. But what happens is, because we don't, because we're so attached to, is that okay now? Am I back on the screen? Because we're so attached to what we did last weekend. Okay. Some of you, again, hands up, drop me if this is a yes. Who's still beating themselves up about what they did at the weekend? Me. Okay. Who's still beating themselves up about what they didn't do last week? Who's still beating themselves up about the results that they're not getting? Okay. Who's still beating themselves up because they don't feel like they've been paid for the work? Okay. And again, the opposite, who's still focusing on how far they've got to go? Who's still talking about losing 3 stone rather than 3 pounds? Who's still resentful and angry because they've been working for 3 weeks and they don't look like a world-class fitness model? Okay. We all do it. And the way to change it is to truly be present. And that's what the planner and the evening journal does. I used this example before, okay, and it's called the amygdala, which is part of the brain which will auto reset to negative. It will auto reset to fear, guilt. It's related to cortisol, it's related to hormones, it's related to survival, it's related to the basic fact that the body is built to go away from fear. Okay. And dogs don't have it. That's why when you walk through the front door, all your dog is focused on is how pleased it is to see you. Okay. And possibly its next meal or walkies or anything at all. You know, it doesn't remember that you shouted at it earlier because it knocked the fucking cup of tea over in the lounge and ruined your carpet. Okay. It's not thinking about where it's going to be in 3 months' time from now, and whether it's going to be a worthwhile investment, and whether, you know, you're the best partner, and whether you're going to stay with them forever, and all that type of thing. They simply don't have it. And that's why dogs are so happy all the time, because they can live completely in the present. Okay. Does that make sense? Drop me some form of acknowledgement. Okay. So how do we get more? Which again is the question that I think these are the way I want these trainings to relate back to. Okay. So very often I've been on trainings like this and I'm thinking, yeah, that all makes sense. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Paul, but how do I apply it to my life? Okay. That's what I don't understand. How do I do this? How do I get where you are? How do I make sure that I only experience those feelings? Okay. And for me, it's two things. It comes down to acceptance, and it comes down to allowing the balance, okay, and trying to find it and realizing that none of us are perfect. So I have to understand, if I'm getting praised to shit all over Facebook because my videos are so good and my coaching is so good and my business is on fire and my music's wicked and I'm in the top 10 and everyone's loving me and life's amazing, I have to understand, if I'm getting that amount of praise, a high percentage of people are going to think I'm a fucking dick as well. Okay? Pure and simple. I have to accept that. You cannot have all that amount of praise and not have a load of people think you're a twat as well. Pure and simple. But this is what people are looking for, and this is why they get upset, and this is why they get down in the dumps, because when all the praise is coming, they're happy to accept it. But as soon as they're challenged or criticized or pulled down, everything falls apart, okay? So we need to allow it, and we need to find the balance, okay? So here is something I wrote down personally, okay? In regards to not the Saturday just gone, the Saturday before, because you guys know I planned this training way in advance, okay? So I was ill. I couldn't work. I couldn't train. I had to cancel rugby, okay? This Saturday. I let the lads down. I got no sleep. Nat's mum was ill. Had no childcare. Had too much on. So having a complete meltdown, okay? Can't cope. Nothing makes me happy. I'm sick of being stuck in this fucking house. No plan, no clarity, no focus, not happy, okay? That's where the mind will drift to. Those things are still true. Okay, I can't get rid of them. I can't change them. I can't change being ill. I can't change letting the lads down. I can't change not being able to play rugby. Couldn't run up the stairs, let alone on a rugby pitch, okay? But, again, obviously I should have been training with the SAS on Saturday. So this is kind of out of date now because I was ill. But then I reset and focused on, well, what have I got coming up? Okay. And I want you guys to do this in the comments now. What have you got to be excited about looking forward? So mine was, got a photo shoot coming up. I've got the music launch parties coming up. I did have the SAS training. I no longer have that. I can't know what I've wrote there. I've got the WAM coming up. I've got Nick's training sessions coming up. I've got training sessions with Paul coming up. The new website is coming along, and there's a lot that I've got to focus on, that I need to look forward to. Okay. But again, you don't have an awareness of that unless you're writing it down, unless you're journaling, unless you're focusing. Okay. Now, this is where my head was at, and this is what I hope will help you. Okay. So first of all, there were all those feelings of being ill and I can't do anything. And then I'm like, I'm going to have to cancel the photo shoot. I'm going to have to cancel the SAS. I'm going to have to cancel rugby. I'm going to have to cancel my podcast. I'm going to have to cancel Paul's training. I can't work. I've got no sales. I can't cope. Okay. Stress, anxiety, low mood, anger, frustration, straight into fear mode. I can't do it. I can't cope. Everyone fuck off. Tailspin, tired, fear about the future, drama, extreme emotions. Everything happens for you, not to you. Can't sleep. Okay. Stress. Who's been there when something happens? Okay. Now, you have to just accept it and learn from it. And that's what I've had to do. And that's what I want you guys to take home. So, you know, we either experience these extreme highs or we experience these extreme lows, or we just try to get an awareness that everything that happens is great. Okay. Being ill was great because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. How can I be experiencing all that stress and anxiety and low mood if I'm just grateful? Back to what I said this morning. I'm grateful because I was ill, because everything that happens to me is great, because I learn from it. That's how I grow as an individual. That's how I get stronger. So rather than thinking about all the wins and all the losses, again, ask yourself this question. What do you learn from all your wins? And what do you learn from all your losses? Okay. So I purposely looked into the negatives to see what I learn. Okay. How can I turn an absolute freaking car crash disaster of a week into a blessing? And that's what I've done. And that's what I believe we can all do. Okay. So again, here's another example, okay, of how I did it. So let's go back to when I was a personal trainer. Okay. This is where I lived. Clients cancelled all the time. Some of them at 5 minutes notice, and then absolutely offered no form of payment, or either said, don't worry, I'll pay for the session, but then never did, even though I chased them. Okay. When I used to go on holiday, I didn't get paid. Okay. When my clients went on holiday, I also didn't get paid. So think about it. You're getting doubly screwed. Okay. October to November was an absolute fucking disaster every year. Everyone all of a sudden valued Christmas presents, getting pissed, little black dress, everything more important than getting fit. Okay. Woolly jumpers are going on. Don't really care about how I look. Fitness and nutrition, bottom of the pile, cancelled sessions, no income from October to December. That was the first year that I was a self-employed personal trainer. I was earning around about £500 a week. Started in April, went self-employed. Best thing ever. More money, more freedom, more impact. Didn't save, didn't put any money away. Hadn't worked as a personal trainer from October to December before. Got to October, and I think I'm lucky if I did 5 or 6 sessions a week. Okay, charging about £30 an hour. Okay, a very, very dark period. Okay. Also, this is what happened with personal training. Okay, and I can see you, so I'm going to use you as an example. Ange used to turn up for a PT session at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. I would train her. I would provide her with nutritional advice. I would provide her with emotional support. I would give her a plan to go away and do. But let's face it, deep down, she was only paying me £30 for that hour. So that's where our relationship began and ended. Okay. Then we would get to next Monday. Ange, how you doing? How's your week been? Yeah, not great. Oh, really? What happened? I haven't really done anything since the last time I came to see you last Monday. All right, how come? I don't know. I've not really had any. I don't know. I've just, life got in the way. Okay. So frustration, no results. Okay. It wasn't scalable. Okay. And I was just angry about it all the time. Okay. All just in a rigmarole of long hours, people cancelling, income up and down, impossible to control, people not putting the work in, no results, dark place, horrible, hated it, came that close to leaving the fitness industry. Okay. Why? Because I give a shit and I'm about results. If I can't get them, it pisses me off. Okay. It makes me feel like a fraud. It makes me feel like a fake. So what was the result of all that situation? Okay. I went fully online. I developed a system where I can make clients accountable 7 times a day. Okay. I grew my business by, ready, 59% in lockdown. Okay. I get results with every client. I'm changing lives. I'm having a massive impact. I've learned a lot about mindset. I've learned about accountability, and I've 10x'd, sorry to use a Russell Brunson American phrase, 10x my business and then some since I went from being a personal trainer to fully online. I get more time with Logan. I get more time with Nat. I get more money. I get more impact, and I've got more freedom. Okay. Would any of that happened if personal training was just great and everyone turned up and they were still getting results? none of it would have happened. I would not be here right now talking to you. I'd be in the gym, training Janet, listening to what a twat her husband is and how I pissed her off at the weekend before her forgetting her money at the end of the session, me having to chase her, her not doing any of the work during the session and just using me as a counsellor before her fucking off for 7 days and not doing anything before the next time I see her. Okay? Hands down, that was what 90% of my clients were like. I'm grateful for that. Why? Because everything that happens to me is great. Had that not happened, I wouldn't be here. Had that happened, I wouldn't even be seeing my son because I'd be in a gym all day training people. Okay? I'd still be stressed at Christmas. I'd still have no income. None of that would have happened. This would have happened without that. Okay? Again, let's go back to it's out in the open now. Okay? The cloud is lifted. I don't care about it. Okay? I attempted to take my own life twice because of extreme depressed feelings. Okay? What happened from that? I read 300 books on mindset. Okay? Developed my mindset. I became stronger. I became more of a character. I became more confident. I learned about mindset. I went and seeked out coaches because I couldn't get the help that I needed. Okay? And that led to saving other people's lives. Okay? Had my own mindset not spiraled into the worst possible situation of my life, again, would I be here? Would I be coaching you guys now? Would I be helping people? Would I have helped Nick? Would I have helped all the people that I've helped? Would I have helped Peter Sholly? Would that have happened? It wouldn't, okay? But the sooner we can kind of get this epiphany that, and understand it quickly, that's the secret, I think, that everything is a blessing. Okay. And every blessing is a lesson. So when something happens to us, try and reset to that point where we're like, what is the world trying to show me? Okay. What am I learning? What is this situation going to teach me? Nick, what are you going to learn whilst you're injured? Okay. And the truth is, when I've auto reset, go back to what I just said to you guys, in 2 months' time, when this freaking illness has gone, I'll be laughing about it, okay? Because I still have studio sessions. I'll be able to get back training. What else did I write down? I've got 6 events. I've got the new website. The garden will be done. I've got some great stuff. I've got Laura, I've got Nat, I've got Raya, I've got 2 times photo shoot plans. SAS is replanned with Laura. Okay, we can do it anytime we want. I've got 3 records coming out. But all of that had been forgotten and had become lost, okay, because of the disaster. But every single thing, just think about what happened, okay? Go back to that emotional cycle of transformation. What actually happened? What did I learn? Why am I grateful? How can I do it differently? Okay. And again, comes back into the coaching that we've said in the last few days. Okay. How can I make everything smaller? Okay. And that's what I had to do. Imagine my head, let me go back on my notes. So imagine my head being ill, not being able to do anything. And all I'm thinking about is work, clients, training, rugby, let the lads down, can't cope, going to lose money, photo shoot, music, SAS, wham, can't do this, can't do that, can't do that. It's that emotional spiral that goes down when really I just needed to think one day at a time, okay? And that would have changed all of that, okay? But, this is what we need to learn. Every time you guys get overwhelmed because you take on too much, okay? Who's already taken on too much this week? Who's already agreed to things they didn't really want to do? Who's already planned things in for this year that they don't value and that they're dreading coming up? Okay. Who's said yes to somebody when they know damn well they should have said no? Okay. Who's taken on another phone call, another Zoom, another meeting, another booking, another conversation, another affiliate program, another fucking book, even though you've not finished the 7 books you've already got. Okay. And then again, we're suffering with overwhelm, anxiety, stress. Okay. How do I get better? Okay. How do I become a better meta? What do I learn? I learn to say no. Okay. So again, remember, this was a week before the SAS. So again, these are the questions that these are the 3 questions that I asked that leveled me back to being normal. Okay. So the weekend before the SAS, I was having a complete and utter meltdown about it. Laura knows, Nick knows, Nat knows, you guys probably know by now because I probably mentioned it 500 times. That's how much in my head it was. Did it actually matter until Friday morning? Did I really need to stress about whether I was going to be well 7 days before, or did I just need to see how the next day panned out? Okay. Again, worrying about the garden being done today. Dogs barking, going mental, can't work, fucking mess everywhere. There's 3 diggers out there. They've taken 42 tons of mud yesterday, and they've got another 26 to go today, I think. But did I really need to worry about that until this morning? No. Okay. Again, no income, lower income because I couldn't work last week. Okay. Have I got debt collectors knocking at my door? No. Okay. Am I skint? Yes. Okay. Is it my fault because I've overspent? Yes. Okay. But do I really need to think about it? Not really. Okay. I need to work on fixing it. So, as I said, every blessing is a lesson, but it's coming back to that day. You know, how many of us completely stress about debt as an example? But if we really look at the overall situation, we're not quite as affluent or as in the black as we'd like to be at this moment in time, but we can fix it. You know, we're not about to, who gets yourself into that head? Like, you literally had a few bad weeks, and in your head, it's like that Paul, what's his name, off of Don't Pay, They'll Take It Away, is going to be knocking at your door. And it's like, you've not had any letters, you're not really behind with any bills, you've just whacked a bit into your overdraft because you spent too much freaking money making impulsive decisions on material stuff that you don't need. Again, what did I learn? Don't do this in the future because it will cause me stress. It will cause me anxiety. But, you know, again, 2 things that I wrote down here that might have an awareness. Drop me a note if you've ever done that about debt. I do it all the time. All the time. I create the anxiety and the stress over something that doesn't really exist, if I'm honest. If I look hard enough, okay? Listen to my language there. If I look hard enough, if I look at what actually happened, what is actually happening, not allowing my thoughts to run away and start to believe them, okay? So here is a win and here is a why, okay? And this is, again, what all of a sudden you might think, fucking hell, I never thought of it like that, okay? So if, Melissa, you got home from work tonight and you were way too tired to train, okay? Exhausted, and you just fucked it off and chilled out, watched the telly, okay? Why is that a blessing? How can I turn that into a blessing just like that? Okay, awareness that you need recovery, okay? Why was it a blessing? Because you would have had a shit session anyway, and it would have been wasted, okay? It would have created stress. You were already tired. You were already exhausted. Going and doing the training session would have made you more exhausted, okay? So how do we further then progress this? Well, go and train the next day when you've had some sleep, you've had some food, you've put your work less down. Go and nail a world-class, peachy ass, booty building, best session ever workout, okay? And killed it. That's all within a 24-hour period. Think about it, okay? So I was too tired to train and I sacked it off. Became a win, because you would have had a shit session anyway and created more anxiety, more overwhelm, more stress, and the resulting payoff that you would have got would have been a shit training session when you went in and gave it 15%. However, you listen, that's the why. The win, too tired to train. Why was it a blessing? Because it would have created more stress, more anxiety, more exhaustion, and you would have had a sit session. Further progress, how do we turn it into a bigger win? Is we go and nail the session the next day. So that's what we sometimes need to ask. How can I turn a negative into a win? Okay. And when you can do that, that's when you will become so powerful. Okay. How can I turn I hate my job into a win? How can I turn I got ill into a win? Anything that you're experiencing, which is, if we go back to the top, anything that you're experiencing, which is in the negative, the fear, the guilt, the criticism, the pain, when I look hard enough, how can I turn that into a win? Okay. And when you can turn your negatives into lessons and wins, they don't exist anymore. And that's when you will become truly, truly, truly powerful, because everything is a double-edged sword. Who said that phrase before? Oh my God, life's a double-edged sword, isn't it? And it really is. But there is a lesson in everything if you look for it. So you look for the lesson. What did I earn? What did I learn by being ill? What did I learn by not training? What did I learn by hating my job? What did I learn because my partner cheated on me? What did I learn because I got the sack? What did I learn because I started experiencing lower emotional mood? And you find the answer, and the result is fulfillment. Or you just go into victim mode. Oh, can't do SAS, can't train, can't eat, gonna get fat, nobody loves me, gonna lose all my clients, work shit, don't even know when I'm gonna be better, everything's wank, can't afford to pay for the garden. Okay, that's where I was. You just go into victim mode. Okay, and it's about switching that. And this is what I'm going to lead you on. Okay, so I think people are leaving because you're all getting bored, but this is, again, I think an epiphany for me. Okay, who's ever described another person as having an aura? Okay, who's ever been in a situation where that person walks into a room and they don't even need to speak or say hello or do anything at all? There's just something in their persona. It's like celebrities, okay? You know when a celebrity walks into the room, don't you? There's just something about them. You know when a professional sports person walks into the gym, okay? You know when someone who's world class comes into your life and you're literally like, oh my God, like, I keep talking because I'm just soaking all this up, okay? I can't get enough of what you're saying. And they are always the most powerful person in the room. And there is only ever one reason, okay? Again, when you have a house party or you barbecue, there's always that one person, isn't there, that everyone just meanders towards. All the conversation becomes about them. Everyone talks about talks about them after they've left. Okay, everyone says what a nice guy they are. Everyone says how motivational they are, how great it was to meet them. Okay, and that is purely because that person is present. Okay, they're not high, they're not the gobby one, they're not the one shouting the loudest, getting the most drunk and peacocking. Okay, they're not the fucking Debbie Downer who just wants to pull people away into corners and tell them about how bad everything is and how everything happens to them, not for them, and how everything's bad, and, you know, I'm exactly like you, and let's talk about our problems and let's all be in a negative camp together. They're just the person that's present. Okay, and it's about control. And this is what I need to work on, and this is why I've dug so deep into it, okay? Because I keep getting to this place again and again and again. You guys will probably see it in me as your coach. I can be 10 out of 10 and I'll just keep going and going and going and going and going, and then I will crash. I need to bring it down a bit, okay? I need to be more present, because when you are just present, that's when you will feel most happy. You're not living in the past or the future, you're living for now, okay? That's when you'll feel love. That's when you'll feel fulfillment. That's when you'll feel grateful, when you're just happy being present and realizing that everything is a win and that everything happens for you, not to you. Okay. So, as I said, if you're beating yourself up about something that's in the future, that's the fear. And again, thinking about self-belief, it goes back to that. Okay. Again, it comes through action, but is there something you don't believe that you can do today? Or is it a case of all you really have to do today is stick to your calories? Listen to this video, do 30 minutes personal development. Okay. Get your macros as close as you can, get your steps in. Then try again tomorrow. That's all you need to do, guys. That's all you need to do, is just be present. Okay. And that's it for today's session, I think. Yes, it is. The next session we'll be moving on to a development, okay? A development of how we create a positive focus. So we're going to understand there will always be positive and there will always be negative. But what I'm going to divulge on in the next Bulletproof Mindset is, how do we develop it? Okay. How do we learn it? How do we develop that positive focus so we can be present, so we can be happy, so we can be fulfilled, so we can be clear, so we can be focused, so we can be loved and we can be loving? Because you can't be loved without being loving, exactly like I said. Okay. But we have future, present, and past. And it's how we understand the future, what we're worried about, what we're stressed about, what we're anxious about, what we're overwhelmed about. Okay, we've got the thing, haven't we? And then we've got the guilt, beating ourselves up, regret, anger, resentment, hatred. Look at me with my dad. Okay, it's in the past. What do we feel when we're truly, truly present? Happy, fulfilled, clear, focused, driven, positive, believing in ourselves, loving and loved. Okay, we've got to bring it back to being present. I hope that's been helpful. I'm just going to my screen's not shared, so I should be able to find them. I'm going to come on to the Q&As. As I said, they'll be at the end of each session. We've got another Q&A session tomorrow, so it will be just questions and actions. A lot of people have asked about questions as well. Just make sure they go on the Q&A post in the group. I am going to be, once I've checked with the two boss ladies, that they're in agreement. I'm going to change the group ever so slightly, so that you guys can only comment on the 4 posts. Okay. Purely because it will mean you can only ask questions on the Q&A, whereas some people keep getting them wrong and posting them on the just individual posts. And I just want to keep it as clean and as tidy and controlled as I physically can for you guys. So Q&As. So Michelle's question was, I need help. I keep getting bruise-like marks on my arms from planking exercises. Any steps to top this? No, I have absolutely no idea. I can't for the life of me think. A bruise comes from an impact normally. So I can't for the life of me even imagine how you're getting bruises on your arms from doing planking. I can't answer that question. You've stumped me. You've done me. You've absolutely done me. No idea. Send me some pictures of the bruises and where they are, and how you're doing a plank. But I'm very doubtful that the bruises have come from planking. I'm not saying that you've been up to anything else, as you commented, but I don't get it. Okay, everyone who's introduced themselves, thank you. If you haven't already, get yourself introduced. Okay. Lewis, Gemma, Olivia, Johnny, Louise, Rachel, Andy, Rachel, Colette, Kerry, Aaron, Janine, Kat, Kelly, Tracy, John Ross, Rich Cow, Roman, everyone, okay? Come and step forward and be part of the team. No hiding. This is what's difficult, guys. Can't even find the Q&A. Just bear with me. Okay, recent posts. So, 6 p.m. last night. Anyone still watching as well, just drop a comment, even if on replay. Do you want the morning journal at 6 a.m. rather than 7 a.m.? Personally, it would be better for me, but it's not about me, it's about you guys. Okay, Q&A, here we go. So, Tracy, I didn't hear my feedback on the WAM. I did do it. So, I'd go back and watch the WAM. Scroll through. I've posted it in the guides now until you get to your photos, but I did definitely discuss it. Okay. Everything is 100% good. Okay. What you've posted, I'm going to go through this in the muscle building masterclass on Thursday. So I'm not going to go on it too more, but if I want to lose more body fat and gain muscle, should I change my macros? I would never really attempt to specifically concentrate on those two things at the same time, which is what I'm going to come on to on Thursday. Generally speaking, if we're looking to solely focus on building muscle, we need to be in a small calorie surplus. I will be giving you the information on how to do this. And generally, if we're looking to reduce body fat, we need to be in a small calorie deficit. Can we build muscle whilst losing fat? Technically, yes. Is it optimal and most likely to happen? Most likely, no. But what I will say is, I don't think you need to be even thinking about that yet. What you're doing is you are allowing your mind to run away with yourself, and you're living too far in the future. As I would say, every week since you've joined, you've pretty much, looks like you've added some muscle and dropped some body fat, which will happen initially. Very often we look more muscular as we reduce body fat because we're showing the muscle off. It's like taking the layers off. But I don't think you need to even think about your 5-6 weeks in. You don't need to be making any changes yet. Everything is going to plan. You're absolutely killing it. Your mind is running away and you're trying to looking for me to give you more information, more things, more shiny objects to make things happen quicker. I, as a coach, am completely happy with how you're progressing, and I would massively recommend that you don't need to change anything at this stage, but definitely tune in on Thursday. Alison Flood finding a replacement for my classes with Becky. Okay, yeah. So unfortunately, guys, Becky is leaving at the beginning of May because she, ironic considering what I've just said, but she wants to pursue a career in teaching one-to-one. So we will be wishing her all the best and be very grateful for everything that she's done in terms of the classes. In regards to what you said, Alison, two things. One is 30 days worth of the classes, Pilates, yoga and HIIT will be recorded and saved in the guides. They have been. So you will have them as a database to go back to anytime you want. Secondly, I'm going to have a massive announcement, all being well, by the end of this week, by another coach that will be coming in, that will be taking the HIIT classes to a whole new level. It's going to be filmed professionally in a gym. It's going to be live. There's going to be multi-camera angles. There's going to be proper voice recording and proper musical sound throughout as well. So it's a development area that we're working on, and you won't need to find a replacement because there will be one, and it's going to be world class. And I can't wait for you to meet who it is who's going to be doing them, because she is one inspirational woman and she's absolutely world class at what she does. So yeah, we will be wishing all Becky the best, but as always, with every area of this business, everything is consistently evolving and being improved, developed, and taken to the next level. It's going to cost us quite a bit of money, but it's what we do. Okay, we always want to make this better and better and better. I never want it to be the same. Okay, so that will always happen. So guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks for tuning in massively. Those of you that watched live, drop a comment saying that was epic. Thank you if you've made it till the end. I always like to know if I've waffled on too much. Any feedback, massively appreciated. Remember today, just be present, okay? And you will really, really find that things just start to happen for you, okay? Rather than things are happening to me. Everything happens to me is victim mode, okay? Everything happens for me is being present. Everything is a blessing. Everything is great. Everything happens for a reason, okay? I will see you again at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Massive love to each and every one of you. Comment #replay, comment 6 a.m. if you prefer it at 6 a.m. And I will update you on the new features very soon. Come on.